Welcome to the TrekkSoft vlog. My name is Ilse and today I want to discuss with you our guide on how to reach the Chinese market. So, China has the largest population in the world, and it's not surprising that it also has a huge market for tour and activity companies. But did you know it's also the fastest growing tourism source in the last decade? But don't count yourself rich just yet. Despite the size, it's also one of the most difficult markets to tap into. But worry not, I'm gonna help you get some insight into the Chinese tourism market that will hopefully help you get more bookings for your tour or activity company. Let's start with Chapter 1, the advantages of targeting the Chinese tourism market. If you are a tour or activity provider, China offers some serious growth opportunities. According to the Financial Times, all Chinese travelers together spend roughly 500 billion per year on outbound travel, which underlines pretty well why this massive market is so important. Another trend is that more and more Chinese travelers are starting to travel outside of Asia. To throw in another stat, over 2 million Chinese travelers arrived in the US last year and spent on average about $6,000 per person. Chapter 2, the importance of mobile. China is a country that loves mobile. In fact, it's the biggest smartphone market in the world, which is why tour operators that target Chinese mobile users will have a definite advantage. It's also essential to make sure that your website is mobile optimized, because chances are high they are reading your website from a mobile device. The Chinese smartphone user does not only make many of the purchases through their smartphone, they also use their phone to seek for information about nearly anything that comes to their mind. PricewaterhouseCoopers discovered that 98% of Chinese respondents use their smartphone in the research stage of the purchase decision. Chapter 3, social media marketing in China. So many travel operators use social media to reach out to their customers. However, in China, it's a bit more difficult than in the rest of the world. Why? Well, it's mainly because popular channels such as YouTube, Facebook and Twitter are blocked by the Chinese government. I hope this does not give you the impression that China does not use social media. In fact, China has the largest population of active social media users. To throw in some more numbers, it's about 400 million active users on social media. That's why, when considering your marketing strategy, it's important to target the local social media platforms. Weibo is an example of the largest social network in China and has over 600 million registered users as of 2014. WeChat also plays an important role in the Chinese society. At the same time, there are some important challenges to consider. At this point in time, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Weibo is the only popular social media platform that offers a truly English interface for advertisers. That means that if you run ads in China, you'll either need to have an in-house Chinese speaking looking after it, or you have to work with a Chinese advertising agency. Still, we believe that the investment will pay off for many travel operators. Chapter 4. Target the Chinese traveler. So back in the day, your average Chinese tourist would often travel in large groups. Please excuse my stereotyping, but truth is that many Chinese tourists would spend the majority of their trip either souvenir shopping or taking pictures of mainstream tourism attractions and sites. But don't be fooled. The behavior of the Chinese tourists has changed over time. Especially young millennials now tend to travel in either small groups or by themselves. They also seek more real, unique experience and are very much interested in adventure activities such as skydiving and rafting. So if you, for example, run paragliding trips, it could be an idea to use Facebook advertising and geo-target young Chinese who live in high-income cities like Shanghai or Beijing. Chapter 5. Become fluent in Mandarin. Okay, so you don't really need to be fluent in Mandarin to attract Chinese tourists to your tour. But it's more important that your website is. This will of course help you appeal more to Chinese travelers and you reduce the barrier of people booking with you. But a bigger benefit is that your website is more likely to be found by Chinese search engines. You can't forget that Chinese search engines like Baidu do not index English characters. To score even higher in Chinese search engines, it could be worth your while to translate a couple of blog posts in Mandarin. The more specific these are to the Chinese, the more likely they are to convince website visitors to book a tour with you. Chapter 6. Create a buzz. So, word of mouth marketing is very powerful in every market. But for China, it might be even more valuable to engage people and motivate them to talk to you. Why? Well, the Chinese is more individualistic than the Western society. This means that they carry more value to the opinion of the mass. Where Western tourists often try to share the most unique travel experience as possible, Chinese travelers are more likely to post tourist highlights of their trip, like the Eiffel Tower of Paris or the Statue of Liberty of New York. So if you already have a small clientele of Chinese customers, it could be a great idea to motivate them to share their experiences online. Chapter 7. Appeal to their values. The Chinese often use simple heuristics like brand names and prestige to make their purchase decision. They value big name brands and luxury products. So make sure your tours are adapted to their value perception, which ties in quite well with our previous vlog in which we share 5 ways to adapt your tours to the luxurious market. Chapter 8. Key insights. Ultimately, it's important to implement different strategies for reaching the Chinese tourists. The key insights we shared today with you were: provide memorable experiences for those traveling alone or in small groups. Geo-target millennials who live in high-income cities like Shanghai or Beijing. Have your website professionally translated into Mandarin. Create unique content in Mandarin to rank even higher in Chinese search engines. Think of incentives to promote word-of-mouth marketing. And 6, to appeal to the luxurious traveler. Well, that's it for today. I hope you found our advice very valuable and that you're excited to tap into the Chinese market. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and let us know if you have any suggestions on which topics to discuss next. Have a good day!